Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something I absolutely love, transforming your Centennial or Denver Metro home using bold, really intentional flooring. A lot of homeowners have this moment where they know they want something different, something that really pops, but then they just freeze up. It's like, how do I do this without making the room look completely over the top? Well, today, we're going to break down the exact materials and strategies that local design experts use to make a powerful statement that actually works. Here's our roadmap for the explainer. We'll start by redefining what bold actually means. Then check out large format tiles, contemporary wide plank hardwood, and luxury vinyl plank patterns. Finally, we'll wrap up with the secrets to mixing materials masterfully and balancing out your whole room. Let's jump right in. First up, redefining bold flooring. It is all about context. And I mean it, we really need to completely rewire how we think about a floor standing out. So here's the thing, a truly bold floor isn't just a happy accident. It's a choice that prioritizes contrast, whether that's in scale, texture, color, or pattern relative to the space. It's a deliberate point of view. Going bold absolutely does not mean going dark or dramatic, and it for sure doesn't mean just grabbing the loudest, craziest option off the shelf. What makes a floor feel bold is contrast. How does it interact with your standard ceiling heights or your neutral trim? Context matters so much more than most people realize. Just look at the difference here, moving away from those warm, typical honey-toned floors that basically defined Colorado homes for an entire generation. That's a massive leap. When you drop a matte gray, large-scale tile or a rich charcoal wood floor into a typical room, it instantly, and I mean instantly, reads as a serious, contemporary design move. It completely anchors the whole space rather than just passively blending into the background. All right, moving on to Section 2. Large format tile statements, focusing on scale and surface. Let's see how supersizing your materials can totally change the game. We are talking massive scale here. Think tiles that are 24 by 24 inches, or even up to 32 by 32 inches. Just try to picture how huge that is compared to the standard tiles you're probably used to seeing in older homes. When you drop porcelain tile of this magnitude into an open living area or a kitchen, it literally commands the room. But okay, here's the hidden requirement to pulling off this seamless, bold look. Because these tiles are just so huge, you end up with far fewer grout lines. This means the floor basically reads as one continuous, sleek surface, especially if you're going with concrete, slate, or stone look finishes. But here's the catch. You absolutely must have a perfectly level subfloor. No exceptions. At this scale, if your subfloor is even slightly off level or out of square, it's going to be glaringly obvious. Professional assessment and leveling is an absolute must before you even think about laying these down. Let's head into Section 3, Contemporary Wide Plank Hardwood and Evolving Finishes. It's fascinating to see how traditional hardwood is adapting to catch a modern designer's eye. If you really want a floor that makes people stop and say, wow, the finish matters almost as much as the wood species itself. We are officially moving past that standard golden oak. Instead, check out these striking modern finishes. We're talking wire-brushed white oak, sealed with a gorgeous matte finish, fumed wood with these cool gray undertones, or maybe a really rich, dark espresso stain on maple. These specific choices give your wide-plank hardwood an undeniably modern, custom edge. And check out this quote from our source. Hardwood also adds long-term resale value in a way most synthetic flooring categories can match. This is such a crucial insight. In markets around the Denver Metro, like Parker or Highlands Ranch, buyers respond incredibly well to updated hardwood, but specifically when the finish reads as current rather than dated. It's a serious investment in your home's future value. Oh, and just like with those large tiles we talked about, prepping the subfloor so these wide planks sit perfectly flat and survive those wild Colorado temperature swings, absolutely paramount. Section 4 brings us to luxury vinyl plank patterns, or LVP for short, waterproof and custom. If you've got basements or moisture-prone areas, LVP is about to be your best friend. Now, LVP has come a long, long way from its early years. If you're still thinking of it as just a cheap budget option, you definitely need to update that view. Thanks to these really cool gray tones, deep charcoal washes, and highly textured stone looks, LVP reads as a genuine, elevated design decision. And the best part? Its waterproof construction makes it the perfect way to go bold in spaces like basements, kitchens, and laundry rooms where traditional hardwood would literally warp and get ruined. Okay, Get ready for one of my absolute favorite designer secrets. You can take the exact same LVP plank, but instead of using a standard straight lay pattern, you install it in a herringbone or a diagonal pattern. It completely changes the energy of the room. It adds this gorgeous visual movement and a highly custom feel. And the kicker? It doesn't add a single cent to your material cost. It is quite literally one of the smartest, most cost-effective ways to make a really bold statement. All right, section 5, mixing materials masterfully to create connected spaces. Now that we know our materials, how on earth do we transition between them in a modern open concept home? The absolute key word here is intentionality. To avoid your open floor plan looking like a total accident, you've got to follow these exact steps. First off, you can't just change from hardwood to tile in the middle of a room for no reason. There has to be an architectural boundary. Second, when you do transition, always use a clean transition strip. And third, this is crucial, the materials don't have to match exactly, but they absolutely must have a tonal relationship. Meaning, if your wood leans cool, your tile should lean cool. Planning this out before any hammer swing ensures the whole pairing feels incredibly deliberate. Finally, we arrive at section 6, balancing the whole room by letting the floor breathe. Let's zoom out and see how all this builds into your room's broader design context. This table perfectly maps out the golden rule of custom flooring. Listen closely. If your floor is going to be the visual anchor of the space, everything else needs to quiet down. You have to pull back on the busyness of the other surfaces. So if you've got a dark or patterned floor, pair it with light or white cabinetry. If you went with massive, large format tile, stick to neutral wall colors. And let those gorgeous wide plank hardwoods shine by keeping your window treatments super minimal. It's all about balance. To really put this into practice, think about coordinated remodeling. Your cabinet color is actually the biggest single variable in how your kitchen floor will ultimately look. Planning your cabinets alongside your floors right from the starting line, instead of awkwardly trying to fit one around the other later on, means your bold floor finally gets the room it needs to breathe. It gets to be the true focal point it was meant to be. Well, we have covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, haven't we? From pushing boundaries with massive tile scale to leveraging clever herringbone installation patterns. But always remember, a bold floor cannot do the heavy lifting all by itself. It demands the right architectural context and a well-balanced room to truly shine. So I'll leave you with this. Take a look around your own living space right now. Are your current floors holding your home's potential hostage? And more importantly, are you finally ready to make a statement?